we were always encouraged by our parents to be active in terms of just being healthy. So we always were involved in sport. Our father was a RCMP officer, so he had encouraged us at a young age to be involved in some sort of self-defense. So prior to Taekwondo, we were actually in boxing for a few years. And then that club that we attended had actually closed down, so we were looking for something else to do. And we had just we were originally looking for a kickboxing class. Where we were, there wasn't a lot to choose from. We had to go towards the city. So what we actually came across was a Taekwondo club, which is very similar. And it was actually myself and my two sisters that joined Taekwondo. And we had, really grown to like it, and we actually all started to compete, and it was just something to do at the time, and it was something to a good way for us to stay active and to stay fit and stay healthy. And then little did we know that it was going to turn out to be something much bigger. The three of us actually started to tour around the Atlantic, and then we started to tour around around Canada competing, and then there was some opportunities internationally for us to compete as well. So we just took it day by day, competition by competition. It was just something that we like to do, something that that we really we became skilled at. So little did we know that we were going to end up competing in Europe, or for myself to compete in Miami at the World Open competition. So it wasn't something that we did on purpose. It's just something that that felt good for us, and we had tons of support from our family and the community. So it was great for them to do that, because they made it possible for us to be able to leave and to explore and to compete internationally. I think for competition, what it really came down to was my personality. I like to be faced with challenges and to find a way to overcome them, and to not just overcome them, but to excel at them. So in terms of competition, that was something that was exactly that. I would prepare for something that I didn't know what I would come up against, but I had to make sure that I prepared to the best of my ability, because in competition you don't know who you're going to come up against. You don't know what sort of skill set you'll need, so you have to almost over prepare, because it was a good feeling to win. You going to compete, you were going to compete, so you wanted to do well. I think also motivations outside myself were my family and community, because I wanted to do well for them. It wasn't just myself investing in the sport, it was my family and my community investing in me. So I remember in Miami when I had won the World Open tournament, I felt proud. But then when I got to call home and tell them that I won, that's when I had the proudest moment.
Awesome.
I think when I got the news that I was inducted to the Mi'kmaq Sports Hall of Fame, it was a good feeling. I felt proud, I felt accomplished, and I felt grateful and very humbled. But I think every time I made an accomplishment in Taekwondo, it wasn't just for me. My sisters were always alongside with me, and they were always a great support. And my parents put so much into it. And not just them, but like my family and the community always supported us morally, financially, in terms of fundraising. So things weren't just for me ever. It was something that I wanted to accomplish for my own satisfaction, because I liked to do things well.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger picture was that I wanted to succeed in Taekwondo, and subsequently the awards that came with it, they weren't for me, they were for my sisters, for my family, for the community, because those people put energy into us competing. So for me to win that, it was really, I felt like I did well for them. I think my advice to youth in terms of becoming active or even starting to compete at an elite level is to, work hard. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn. I mean, everyone says that, but it's a scary thing to try something new and to not know how to do it. But if you don't try, you won't know. So I think, to try new things, to not be afraid to say yes, not be afraid to take opportunities, not be afraid to, step out of your comfort zone, because that's how you grow. And that's how you're going to grow in the sport in terms of the skill, and that's how you're going to grow as a person. So I think, to try new things and to work hard at it, and to persevere, and to, if you don't get it the first time, that's okay. You're going to learn from your mistakes, and then you're going to get better. So I think, those are my main points. And to, not be afraid to ask other people for help. I think if I wanted to add something to this, it would be to encourage youth to make sure that they give back to the sport and give back to the community, because no one gets anywhere on their own. They always have support. And I think it's important to keep that cycle going and to make sure that there's, always people giving back. And that's what's going to keep the youth coming up, to keep them finding opportunities for them to participate in sport and to, because you never know where someone will go.